O Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, Namaste. Ancestors of all of the lineages to whom we attune, Namaste. Om Shri Babaji Namaha. Om Shri Lahiri Mahasayaji Namaha. Om Shri Yukateshwarji Namaha. Om Shri Paramahansa Yoganandaji Namaha. Om Shri Shaliji Namaha. Om Shri Swami Kriyanandaji Namaha. Most beloved and precious Ishtadevata, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, and in thy formless state, Yanamaha, be with us. Sweep clear our path. May this meditation be meaningful to us all. May it sweep the path to our own enlightenment. May we be illumined, that the path might be illuminated. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Namaste Ji. Welcome. Welcome to my heart, and welcome to our Sunday Sangha. Once upon a yogi time, in the ever-present now, there was a guru who had an ashram, and there were disciples that lived in the ashram with the guru. And one day the disciples were gathered around, and one of the elder disciples said, Guruji, may I ask you a boon? Now, everybody's spine lit up at that. When you ask the guru for the boon, it's very, very special. Of course you may. Of course you may. How many lifetimes until I reach enlightenment, Guruji? And the guru turned next to him and said, you see that wonderful oak tree there? Filled with the leaves of summer, just beginning to turn to the fall. Yes, 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 yes. It's only that many lifetimes upon the tree. Me? It's that many lifetimes before I seek enlightenment? Before I find enlightenment? Do you see how many leaves there are in that tree? Yes, that's all it is. That's all it is, disciple. I've had it. Enough with this path. I'm getting nowhere. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Adios. And the disciple gets up and stomps out. Ooh, that's very bad manners. Very bad manners to speak to your guru like that when he gave you an answer. She gave you an answer. This other disciple said, well, Guruji, as long as the door is open. And the guru looked at the disciple and said, yes, disciple. How many lifetimes till I reach enlightenment? And the guru says, you see this orchard around us with all of these trees here? All of these fruit trees and all of these oak trees. You know how far it is to walk to the edge of the orchard and then the edge of the forest? You know how many trees that is? Yes, yes, Guruji, I've walked that path. Well, for you, It is all the leaves on all the trees in the orchard and all the leaves on all the trees in the forest. It's that many lifetimes before you reach enlightenment. Is that all? Is that all, Guruji? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that boon. Thank you. I'll keep trying. Thank you. And in that nanosecond, the adhikara poured forth from the feet of the Guru, poured forth from every fruit tree there, poured forth from every tree and branch and bush in the forest. And all of the leaves on all of the trees in the orchard, on the bushes, to the very edge of the forest, fell at once. And the veil was lifted from the eyes of the disciple, and enlightenment radiated forth. What's the difference? Was it the belief of the second disciple? What happened? The first disciple gave up. No. The Guru said, it's just the number of leaves on that one tree. Just the number of leaves on that one tree. You could count them. Just the number of leaves on that one big oak tree. And the disciple got discouraged and said, I'm giving up. Forget it. I'm going away. I don't want to continue this anymore. Enough already. And the second disciple looked up and was simply amazed that it was only, the Guru had not said all the orchards upon the earth or all the forests upon the earth. Only said this little orchard, this little forest, and you will be enlightened. Oh. And in that instant of joy, in that instant of becoming one with the beauty, the disciple became enlightened. For life, nature, blessed the disciple, seeing and feeling the devotion, the tapas, the spiritual energy, all aligned and became one with the disciple. The disciple became one with life, and every leaf dropped to the ground. And the light poured forth, the blessings poured forth, and lit that disciple. Now, who are you? Where are you along the path? What are the most important things on your path that will illuminate your way? What are the most important things for you to seek out as you walk along the path? And what is the most important for you, my beloved, to avoid getting up and walking away because you're discouraged, because you feel that it hasn't happened? Whatever it is, the it that you want, it hasn't happened the way you want it, the time you want it, the way you want it. Anything that we seek to do upon the earth plane takes time. We're living in kala. We're living in time. We're walking through kala. We're walking through time. And thus we're not living in a realm of instantaneous enlightenment. Although there are exceptions, as the disciple in that story. Most of us, we must walk through time in order to achieve what we want. And sometimes we walk through time and it's easy. Everything is really easy. It's joyful, it's easy, it's harmonious, no difficulties, and everybody is going along, and you feel like life is just beautiful. And other times, it is not the case. Other times you walk through Kala, other periods, if you will, you walk through Kala, and it is difficult. Sometimes the mind becomes depressed. Sometimes the mind becomes angry. Sometimes the mind becomes excessively emotional. And in those times, we must have a guide, a guiding light, if you will, principles to vivify our path, something to say, this is what I need to follow, this is what I need to see. Now, Kriya Yoga is a mystical path, so I'm not going to tell you that you have to wear blue and color your hair, whatever the color of mine is today. There's no rules, if you will, and yet there are principles. There's a law of cause and effect. So if I do one thing, I'm going to get one result. If I do something else, I'm going to get another result. It's a mystical path, which means that you must work for you. You must try for you. You must step for you along the path. And when these time gates come in which we become discouraged, in which we feel like, oh, this is never going to end, this is never going to close, we must go back and remember. We must, disciples, students, beloved, we must go back and remember. It will end. Everything that has a beginning has an ending. It will end, it will change, it will transform into something that is better for you, that brings greater learning to you. It may not look like it, but it always is. All change is ultimately beneficial for us. Now, there are 3 threads, if you will, along the spiritual path. 3 threads that we need to hold as sacred in our consciousness. And the first of these is wisdom. The second is nonviolence. And the third is bliss. But of all of these, the greatest is wisdom. Wisdom is the core, the very heart of virtue. It is the very heart of your spiritual path. What is it? What is this thing that is wisdom? It is understanding, my beloved, the nature of life, the nature of the life in which you are living. It is understanding and beginning to read symbolese, the word Pranananda made up, symbolese, the language of symbolism. You move into a house and the neighbors are loud and noisy, have barking dogs. Or you've lived in a house peacefully for decades, and new neighbors move in and they have barking dogs. The time gates change, the symbolism has changed. You have to say, ah. Or, move into a house and all of a sudden there's problems. This one and that one and this one and that one. Till you become discouraged and you feel that it's going to last forever. No. What begins has an ending. It will not last forever. We must have the wisdom to understand the time we are in and what is the most appropriate way for us to act in that time. What is the most harmonious way to act in that time? What is the wisest way to act in that time? And what is stopping you from doing that? What is stopping you from finding bliss, from finding Ananda? Well, perchance, it is that you're not paying attention. You're blinded. There is a law of nature upon the earth plane. You are the microcosm of this macrocosm. If it's the dead of winter and there's snow on the ground and it's 15 below, it might not be the wisest thing to take a cold plunge in Puget Sound. However, if it warms up and it's 10 above and you like to do that kind of thing and your body can tolerate it, maybe it is the wise thing for you at that time. The problem is, for most people, plunging in 10 degrees above water in Puget Sound, 10 degrees above zero, the cold water, it is not harmonious to their body. You may be different than others. But here's the problem. Sometimes we look at those people who are able to go out and do that, what we call in Chicago, the polar bear plunge, middle of the winter, out in Lake Michigan. They're able to do that. And we think, oh, that's wonderful, that's wonderful. I could do that. And we forget that they've prepared. They have prepared for what they're doing. And we try to go out and do it, and we have a petite problem. When Guru moved to France in the later years of his life, of this incarnation, and he had lived in France before in other lifetimes, but he had some French karma. And the French karma was such that he had a difficult time speaking fluently in French. He studied and studied and studied and studied. Now his beloved wife, Swami Mayanandaji, went to the Sorbonne, took French lessons, and she could speak French very, very fluently, to the point that she was speaking like a native speaker. And I spoke to Pranananda about it one day, because I too have a block in speaking French, and I've been learning it since I was 3 years old, relearning it since I was 3 years old. And he said, well, we have to just keep trying to dissolve that past life karma. Dissolve it, dissolve it, dissolve it. And you know, the last trip that I went to visit him was 3 months before he transitioned. And he asked me to bring him a couple of books from his library. And one of them was a beginner's book in French. And there were 2 copies, and I had one, and I kept one. Anyway, I said, Guruji, you know, I can see by the notes here that you've already gone through this. He says, no, I need to make sure. I'm back to book 1. The foundation is here. I'm preparing myself. The foundation is here. I'm preparing myself. He had prepared himself for, at that point, I would say nigh on 50 years. And he could go to restaurants and order, he could speak to people, but he was not comfortable with fluidity of the language. And yet he kept working and working and working and working, so that that piece of karma in the next lifetime was not going to continue as an obstacle. He knew the wisdom. He had moved to a foreign country, if you will. He had moved to a country where he was not native to that country. You move back to a country where you were born, and your ease is much different there than it is where you live someplace else. But we're not just talking about simple things like that in terms of wisdom. We're talking about you expanding your horizon of awareness, taking the thumb out of your eye. You know, a thumb in your eye? Try it right now. Put the thumb up to the eye. Guess what? You can blind the sun by a thumb up to your eye. So what we're talking about is being able to take the thumb out of your eye and being able to say, oh, what do I learn? How do I learn? What is wise for me at this time? And what do I see happening 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now? What do I see happening that I need to prepare for at this time? You know, if you're a smoker, enjoy it, but know that there's some ramifications coming down the road. Wisdom contains within itself all of the other virtues, all of the other knowledges, all of the other blessings, all of the other spiritual things are contained within wisdom. It is within you, and it is the very nature of your soul. Wisdom is drawing you to enlightenment, to the end of the path. Your enlightenment. You are being drawn there. Wisdom is drawing you there. What is preventing you from finding wisdom? Well, that's easy. The ego self. The ego is preventing you from finding wisdom. The ego is blinding you to the reality. The ego, which is filled with your emotional attachments to things, to ideas, people, events, things, situations. You're being drawn there. The ego is drawing you there. Oh, I can't forgive that person. I'll be seen as weak if I forgive them. I can't walk away. What will they say about me if I walk away? Oh, I can't say no to that invitation. What will they say if I say no? Now, let go of what they will say. Let go of what they won't say. Let go of what they think of you or what they don't think of you. Let go. Now, the problem is not our attachment to things. It's not the things. The problem is not the things. The problem is not feeling, oh, this is beautiful, this is beautiful. No, that's not the problem. The problem is not the things. The problem is I said earlier, it's not your attachment. It is your emotional attachment to the thing. So when we say that you need to let go of your preferences, it is letting go of your attachment to your preferences. It doesn't mean you have to give away everything that you have materially. It doesn't mean you have to live in a way that is uncomfortable. It does mean that you don't have to have excess, that you can simplify your life. It does mean that, maybe you have to empty your library out a couple of times. Certainly as my guru did, and certainly as I have learned to do again and again and again. The key will be when I learn to stop acquiring the books. That will be the key. But truthfully, the problem is not the book. The problem is the emotional attachment to the book. The emotional attachment which says that you are better. Oh, I'm a person who has books, Where the ego says, oh yes, I read. And other person will say, somebody told me this once and it still sticks in my head. I haven't picked up a book since I left high school. Why would you do that? I was asked. You only do it when they make you do it. That's a state of consciousness. It's the opposite of wanting to have books all the time. I'm not sure which is better, but it's the opposite of. Now, you need to find wisdom. Wisdom is going to bring you to God consciousness. Now, what is God consciousness? It is oneness with the good, the whole. It's oneness with the entirety of all reality, manifest and unmanifest. We begin to acquire wisdom through study. Study. Anything. Anything. Do not let your studies be bound. Anything that is of value to you, you should study. Gardening, cars. I would be drawn to study gardening. I would not be drawn to study cars. Maybe I should study cars. Languages, 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 languages. Language is the way that you communicate a thought form into something that is sound, a more solid form, into something that can be manifested upon the physical realm. I have the thought of a container to hold the water. I see the word water. I see the word vessel. Oh my. I have a container to hold the water. Now, so what am I saying? Study anything, study everything. But most importantly, study the others. No judgment, but study the others. Learn how other people live. Watch them. Talk to them. Study them. Read their books. Learn their languages. Listen. Don't judge. Just listen. I was reading not long ago, and I've seen this for many, 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 many decades. There are people who come to America from other countries, many, many who come from the continent of Africa. And in Africa, one of the customs is that wherever you go, wherever you do, whatever you do when you leave the country, you are responsible for sending money back to your family, to support your family. Now, this is true in many other cultures. But you can read and see now, today, young people in college working part-time jobs here in the United States or in Europe. Part-time jobs, taking the majority of the money that they make and sending it home, supporting whole families with the money that they make. Because that is part of their culture. That is part of what they feel is important, that they value. Do you? I don't know. It's not what is better. It is studying what others do so that you see beyond this little narrow view of your own life, so that you gain wisdom. You see how people treat their elders. You see how they act with respect. You see what they do. You see how they think. You see how they speak. And then your consciousness expands. And then you begin to understand. And then you see how blessed you are. So first there's wisdom. Second thread is ahimsa, nonviolence. Nonviolence must be practiced mentally, verbally, and physically. Now, I think most of you don't go around punching other people. I'm pretty sure that that's true, physically. However, what do? Are you punching somebody else verbally? Are you saying cruel things about somebody else verbally? Or, which is far more the case, are you thinking negative thoughts about someone else? And you can say, well, everybody does that. Well, that's the spiritual sadhana. No, not everybody does that. It takes self-discipline. And for those of you who are here in women's bodies, it is difficult because we are trained to, oh, primp, and oh, this, and oh, that, and oh, what are they going to think about what I'm wearing? You train that from you're very young, not as much as men are. Men are not as much as women are. And with that comes a judgmentalness of women, of others. Oh. And the mind is trained to have an opinion about everything. And you've heard this before, and I hope you hear it again. You do not have to have an opinion about everything. On the path to your enlightenment, give up your opinions. Doesn't matter if she wants to wear a plaid shirt and polka dot pants and red shoes and a purple hat. Bless her. Your fashion assessment doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the other person is eating. It doesn't matter how they're living. Don't judge it. Just observe it so that you can learn. Oh, this is really different. This is very different than my viewpoint. Let go of your violent thoughts. Your thoughts of criticism. Your thoughts that, oh, I know better than they, what they should be doing. Or, oh, if only they would do it my way. Let go of these thoughts of violence. And then, oh, the hardest of all is let go of your violence towards yourself. Let go of the violence towards yourself. You do not need to be violent to yourself. You don't have to criticize yourself. And you know what? You don't have to keep putting yourself in the same situation again and again and again and again in which you're unhappy. Some of you are doing that, and I have a great deal of respect for all of you. I respect you. I accept you. I absolutely accept and respect you, and I love you. The lineage accepts you and respects you and loves you. Life accepts you and respects you and loves you. But you do not have to hurt yourself. If somebody tells you to do something that is causing you pain, stop it. Stop it. Stop it now. Don't continue doing those things that hurt you. And I am very serious. Some of you have picked up very harmful thoughts. And it's like a nail, and you're digging it and digging it and digging it. It doesn't make you holier. It certainly doesn't make you happier. Pull it out. Throw it away. Let it go. Stop being violent towards yourself. And then the Ananda comes, the bliss comes. Now the key here is maybe it'll be like the disciple when all the leaves and all the trees and all the bushes in the orchard and the forest fell down. And it will pour upon you and pour upon you and pour upon you. But what you need to do is a little bit every single day. Some little sadhana that is pouring a little hole in the bliss. Putting a drip of water, a drip of tea into the bliss cup. Doing something wonderful like taking a photo, writing a poem, sharing it with somebody every day, so that you're having to say, Isn't this beautiful? I received a note from someone a few days ago. And the note said, with a photo attached to it, and the note said, for just a moment today, life was wonderful. For just a moment, life was wonderful. It's a beginning. It's a beginning. The bliss will flow to you one step at a time, one turning inward and upward at a time, my beloved. Just one. That's all. That's all you have to do. You too will find your enlightenment. Maybe a bush away, maybe a tree away, maybe in a forest full of lifetimes. But you are immortal, and you have found your way to one of the mystical paths which will accelerate, which will absolutely accelerate your enlightenment. Follow it. Take the steps that you need to take to find your own enlightenment. Wisdom, nonviolence is key towards others, but more importantly, towards yourself, and bliss. And let us now spend the remainder of our time in meditation, and we'll let some of that bliss flow through us. You are worthy of wisdom. You are certainly worthy of living a life of nonviolence. And you're worthy of bliss. And if you don't believe it, in the words of my Param Guru, Sri Shaliji, well, maybe you're not worthy. So what? Who cares? Take the blessing anyway. Always remember his words. Yeah, you might not be worthy. It's okay. Maybe you don't think you're worthy. Maybe they don't think you're worthy. But accept the blessing anyway. Namaste, Ji. Know as we move into this meditation that thou art in the heart of the divine. Thou art a part of life. As life is good, thou art good. As life is blessed, as life is a blessing, thou art blessed. Thou art a blessing. Sit with your spine erect and your hands in the Om Mudra, the index finger and the thumb together. Turning your head to the left with a double exhalation. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch your breath. Move the energy from the limbs of the body to the trunk of the body. Use the sipping breath. Sipping as if through a straw. Again, use the sipping breath, drawing the energy from the limbs to the trunk, from the trunk to the spinal column. And now from the base of the spine up to the sun center. Take that energy as a golden ball of light and move it out in front of you. Expand that light and sweep it around you, moving counterclockwise. 3 times encase your body in golden light. And now expand that golden light and ascend ascend. Ascend to the high place. Above the room you're in. Above the building. Ascend to the high place. Attaining the high place of meditation. Sit in your meditation and begin to watch your breath. In your mind's eye, you see a mountain. Gazing up to the mountain, you see a light shining brilliantly halfway up the mountain. An indigo blue light shining. Allowing your breath to propel you upward. You ascend. Begin to ascend up the mountain. You reach the clearing, which is filled with blue light. Breathe in the light. The blue light of wisdom, of communication, of self-awareness. You enter into this beautiful shrine, the shrine of wisdom. The walls are filled with blue light radiating forth from the crystals. As you walk to the back of the shrine, a pool of blue light fills your pathway. You enter into the pool of light, feeling yourself surrounded by the blue light. Walk forth. You see in front of you a waterfall of light pouring down from the high place. Blue light. Walk forth and stand within the blue light. Feel it pouring down upon you, pouring around you. Pouring within you. Filling every cell of your being with the light. Washing away the difficult karmas. Washing away the hard opinions. Washing away the opinions. The blue light filling you. Breathe in the light. Inhaling, the blue light pours within you. All of the hardness dissolving away. All of the stubborn emotionality dissolving away. Filled with the blue light. Breathe in the blue light. Be vivified and strengthened by the wisdom of the blue light. Filled with the light, walk forth from the waterfall, walking through the pool of light, clothed anew. In the blue light of self-awareness. Leaving your shrine, breathe in the light, radiate forth the light. Return on the light to the high place of meditation. And sit in your meditative posture. Dhyana mulam guru murti Pujamulam Guru Padam, Mantramulam Guru Vakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshvara, Guru Sachat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dhyanamulam Guru Murti, Pujamulam Guru Padam, Mantramulam Guru Vakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanjaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha. Focusing your attention at the Sun Center. As we send forth our meditative prayer, let us use the Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti mantra. Om Gum, Gum, Gum. Om Gam, Gam, Gam. Aim, Aim, Aim. Shreem, Shreem, Shreem. Kleem, Kleem, Kleem. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us send forth our blessings first to Mother Earth, upon whose bosom we reside. May the gratitude for our lives upon her fill our beings. May the light that we send forth bless her, that all that she needs be given unto her. The Om Shanti 3 times. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For all of those souls who are living upon the earth, who are experiencing water insecurity, food insecurity, housing insecurity, safety insecurity, financial insecurity, emotional insecurity. O ye powers that be, pour forth thy blessings. Thou knowest better than we that where the blessings are needed and how they most harmoniously will assist to soften the karma, so that it is easier, that it dissolve away. Again, the Om Shanti 3 times. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And again, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And again. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. O ye powers that be, pour forth thy blessings as we send this mantra forth for all of those souls who are living with anger and high emotionality, who are cruel, who are mean, who are unkind to others, who are using their temporary powers to cause pain upon the earth. Soften the karma, soften the karma, soften the karma. May they see that which they are doing, and may they cease that which they are doing. For those who are confining, for those who have been confined, may all be freed. May we all be freed from the confinements of our karmas. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For those souls who are leaving this incarnation, and for those who are helping them, may they remember their goodness, may they remember their good deeds, may their transition be harmonious and ease-filled. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For those souls and their helpers who are entering the earth plane, may they remember their good deeds of the past. May they bring those skills and that wonder with them. May they bring their goodness. May they know their goodness. May they share their goodness. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. O ye powers that be, we offer at this moment our secret petitions, those private to each of us. Sweep clear the path. Bring that which is needed swiftly, surely, and most harmoniously. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thou art blessed. Thou art a great blessing. Become an ever greater blessing unto all of those who enter your aura. Namaste. Namaskar. Namaste Ji. I thank you as always for the blessing of your presence, for your meditative energy, for that which you are doing to assist all of those who are in need of assistance. Namaste Ji.